I'm the fuck out. I didn't even get started on what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Bro, that movie was crazy.
Crazy, Frankie. Yeah.
What are the specials tonight?
That sounds good. I'll have that.
Hey everybody, Specialists in Nothing, back at you again, talking about everything, specializing in nothing. My name is Frank. As always, Joe and Danny, you guys want to say what's up?
What up? What up?
How you doing? I'll tell you, man, I don't feel like a fucking adult.
Honestly, I don't feel like I'm 33.
I do.
mentally.
I do feel like I'm an adult, but like a lot of people around my age, 33, 32, they're in your 30s. They're like, oh, I feel old. I don't feel young. I don't know. Sometimes, man, I feel like I'm fucking moving around like a 20-year-old kid still. Like, I don't really got the old feeling. It's just the responsibilities, the job, the bill payments, the fucking keeping up with friends and family, like that, just that normal, things you never had to worry about when you were younger. That's what I hate about it.
Like the
That's
annoying
what
parts
makes
of
me
being an
feel
adult.
old.
You said
Other than that,
perfectly.
I'm a freaking at parties, at dinners. I'm at the kids' table, man. I'm the hit with the kids. Like I'm
running
a
around
kid.
the park, jumping on the jungle gym. I feel
Even,
you.
even at work, man, I'm moving around, running around. I feel like I'm a kid. You know what I mean? Like,
I still feel like I'm like in my 20s in a sense, like body
my
wise or just like
brain
mental
still
wise or
functions like a
whatever.
20-something-year-old. Like,
Same, like I agree. But then yes, the adult feeling is like the responsibilities, the bills, the kids, the taking care of stuff like that, like on the regular. But other than that, like yeah, like physically and like mentally, yeah, I still feel like I'm in my 20s.
It's so weird that you say that because, like, my mom in her 60s now, she's like, I still feel like I'm a young person, listening to rock music, hanging out in Brooklyn. She's like, but I'm
Your mom
fucking
still does
old.
look very young though.
Thank you. She does look very young.
she really does, though. It's crazy.
But it's like
Your mom and your dad, man, they're fit.
Yeah, no,
They're
both your parents
in,
age well,
they're
which is
like-
good for you.
yeah, I hope that shit carries over to me.
They will. No, it's awesome.
I will still bust your dad up, though. You could tell him.
Yo. Oh,
Nathaniel.
they do. They look good for their age, and they look good in general. But like, same thing. She's got the mentality of being such a young, adult that now that she's in her 60s, she's like, I can't believe I'm fucking 60, So it's just weird how I turned 34 this year. I didn't fucking think, like, what? 34? Me? You're out of your mind. Out of your mind.
I feel the same way. I'm like, nah.
Bro, there's days I wish I was like fucking 12 and I was worried about going home because I gotta hurry up to go outside and play so that I don't miss a game of Manhunt or fucking tag or some shit,
I was just gonna ask, what was your favorite part? Like what stages of growing up? What was your favorite stage? Like in a 2-year gap.
What do
Like
you mean,
15 to
2 years?
17,
Oh.
17 to 19. Like what was your favorite stage in growing up?
All right, so now here's a question. When you say growing up, at what point? Here's a separate question. At what point do we become an adult?
I would say 21, you technically become an adult. And obviously we weren't acting like adults at 21 for the three of us. We could say that comfortably, easily, I
Yeah.
think. But so I guess
growing-
maybe like mid-20s, like 25, technically, like, okay, now you're adult, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, technically 21, you're an adult.
All right, so we'll call it growing up to 25.
Okay.
Then I would probably pick 23 to 25.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's probably my favorite year
25?
to date. 23 to 25.
23
I had-
to 26,
yeah.
is about where I would say.
Really?
If I
You
had
know
to
what?
pick,
I like a lot of the things I'm doing now in my 30 plus years.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of not so good things have happened a little before, but like getting my shit together and like
Yeah, like
accomplishing
feeling like an
things.
adult.
Right. It
That's
kinda,
different.
It's a different feeling than just having freedom to run around and be 23, 26 years old. You know what I mean? Not really figuring things out, still bullshit, but like
Having a
now,
plan.
right.
But
It
if I had
feels-
to
what?
No, go ahead. I was saying because he's asking about growing up. So
Well, because like for me, I was gonna say 18 to 20.
18 to 20 was your favorite years?
Those were reckless years for me, man. So.
Me too. Me too. But like it was also the start of changes for me too in there. So like 18, still reckless, still having fun, was a chef, was doing my thing, had a career, had an apartment with Jeff, like on the beach, very cool place. Met
Right.
Karen, fell in love, moved in with Karen, started getting things together and like getting like that whole side of my life. So it was like the transition of really from me kid to grown up, and then like all the next things started coming. So yeah, even though now like I still feel how I feel, that was for me in my life the real like transition of okay, from kid gone to grown up now. And I do appreciate those years, like because there was still a lot of fun times, there was a lot of crazy things and just whatever.
Yeah.
But it was yeah, it was probably the best time.
If I had to pick a time growing up, I would probably say maybe like 9 to 12 or like 10 to 12, something like that. You know,
Okay.
because it was my sister and I. So we were like I was the oldest one in my family. And when I was 10,
Used to
I
beat
think
up on
my-
all the little cousins and sisters.
my youngest cousin was probably like 7 years younger than me. So when I was 10, I think she was 3, you know? And then my sister's 3 years younger than me. And we just fucking did everything together. Cause this is, you gotta also remember, this is like early 90s. I'm sorry, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, but and in New York, so like you're talking
True.
like neighborhood parties and barbecues
Block
and
parties.
get-togethers.
Oh, hell yes. All the
Well,
time. That
I
was
say
great.
neighborhood parties too because like it wasn't even necessarily blocks. Like I remember my cousins, like the one they used to have all the time. It was like 4 dead end blocks that were like in a row, and they used to stop the 4 streets. So like the street that was like connecting the 4 streets would still be cars, but those 4 dead end streets would be where all the block party was, and like you could walk to the next block
That's
over or
pretty
whatever.
cool.
And it was still cool. So like some of them were like, you know, neighborhoods that would get involved, and like multiple houses would pitch in or whatever.
I feel like Joe's parents threw the best block parties.
Best. Oh my God. We threw the best any party.
They
Favorite
really
part
do.
about a block party?
Huh?
What was your favorite part about a block party?
I hated block parties, to be completely honest with you. Those are
Really?
my least favorite parties. Yeah, it was
Really?
always messy, crazy, stupid shit happening. I like the more personal parties. Like my family, I had like the I don't know the word I'm looking for. I had like the pleasure of being brought up in a family that threw parties, like
Like hosting
luau
all the
parties,
events.
Oh,
4th of
okay.
July parties, New Year's parties, like just a party to have a fucking parties.
Your house was always the one that hosted.
And yeah, and we always threw the best. It was the most fun. We had entertainment, games, like things to fuck with, like, you know, the themes in our parties. It was like, just, I love those types of parties better. Even our backyard barbecue parties were like incredible. You know what I mean? Block parties
Yeah.
are always just like kind of disastrous.
Well, I
For me,
definitely
at
agree
least,
they leave a
cops
mess in
always
the
got
neighborhood.
involved. Who was fighting with who? What neighbor was, you know, complaining at this point? I don't know.
I don't know
It
where the
just-
fuck you were raised, bro. Like, what kind of
I mean, I don't
neighborhood fight?
really
This
remember
isn't
stuff.
Compton
Listen,
versus
okay.
the West Side, you know. Like, what are
Block
you
parties. Don't forget, I moved out of New York, off of Staten Island.
I
when
was
like
in Jersey.
12.
It's different. Okay.
But block parties when I was 12 and younger were awesome because I would get on the fucking King Kong thing that would go around.
Yeah.
The trucks
little
with the
whip
rides.
thing,
Yep,
you know
yep.
what
I
I
was gonna
mean? And like
say.
they would have the little thing, the dunk tanks, and
Yep.
those were fun. Those back then, block parties when I was younger, and all that other bullshit, you know, my teenage shit in the block party days didn't exist. So it was like, of course, as a kid at a block party,
Look at that.
it was fun, but they got a little overplayed as I got older. Honestly,
I guess so.
I
we
feel
would
that.
do, you know, I had block parties. We played manhunt with football games, so fucking football,
Yeah,
basketball
dude.
games. Like things got all, you know, it was fun, but
See, I don't have the memory like he's saying because I moved to Vegas when I was 8 to 16. So I didn't really have teenage block parties because they didn't really have block parties in Vegas or anything like that. So I had them up until I was like 8 years old out here. And I had like the trucks with the rides and the dunk tanks and like the stuff like that.
Yeah, cotton candy machines.
And then I moved away and like so I didn't really have it anymore after that. So yeah, so I
Same.
guess that's why for me
I
it was a
went to
little different.
Jersey, but we still did block parties.
Yeah,
Like
I hear
that,
you.
it wasn't really a thing, but like it was all
I
right.
hear you.
It was
There would be
different.
see at my block party we would close off from like Armstrong to maybe like 3 or 4 blocks down, and then each one of those blocks up. So it was like maybe a backwards E, if you will, right? And we would have a DJ come. There would everybody, and it was also very different. You know, it's Staten Island, 1999, or fucking 2003, whatever it is. So people are coming to our block party. Everyone who's hosting a house block party, they come over. They bring food.
Yeah, like
My
they had friends and
neighborhood-
family coming to
Yeah.
their house too and stuff. So it wasn't
My
just the people
neighborhood
in their
was-
houses.
Very friendly. So our
Yeah.
neighbors and our neighbors down the block, they would come to us. We'd go by them. Who had like, there was a guy down the block that rolls cigars. So my uncles would go hang out there for a little bit. And then there's people who's barbecuing in the street and just come by for a burger. It was a different time. There was no cell phones. There was nobody,
Yeah, it
you
was
know,
different.
social media. It was different. There was usually a lady who'd come set up a tent and she would sell like water guns or bubbles or like those
That's
fucking
cool.
the light sticks. What
Yeah.
are those fucking sticks
Glow
called?
sticks?
Joe, yeah, glow sticks.
Glow sticks.
And she would sell a bunch of them. We
I
have
goes to every EDC and EZoo and everything concert in the world. Can't think of the word glow stick.
slipped my mind. But we'd have my basketball hoop set up with my neighbor across the street. So we'd have a full length basketball hoop. It was dope, man.
That's
Such a
cool.
good time. Joe makes a good point. Wiffle ball games were all the time. We would play
All the
kickball.
time, man. Kickball,
dodgeball,
basketball games.
even not
We
even
were-
at
we
the
were
block
playing- We were
parties.
doing everything, man.
I'd love to get a good wiffle ball or kickball game going now.
Frank, you throw your back out. You just complain.
The
all
last
day.
time I played wiffle ball,
You're
Danny,
33.
I just went and played a softball tournament last weekend. I'm great.
Is that why you said your back was hurting or your neck or something like that? You're like, I got pain.
Whose
in my
nose
shoulder."
got broken in the fight even though I lost? You're more fragile than me,
That was a
pal.
lucky shot, man. It
You're
was a
older than
lucky
me. You're
shot.
more fragile.
Oh man, Frank didn't even see it coming. He had to shake it off. He literally shook it off. He was like, "Where am I?"
No, but honestly, I would love to do that now. I really would. That would be awesome.
we
Wait,
did that.
Joe,
when
you
we
said you
used to-
played wiffle ball with me recently.
Yeah, when we got out of Carrabba's one night, remember we were playing wiffle ball in the fucking parking lot? That was like the last time I played actual wiffle ball.
When
I
we
don't even
worked at
remember that.
Carrabba's, you're saying?
So that was
you don't remember when
recently.
you-
That was dude. That was like
What, 9 years ago, 8 years ago?
It's not recently.
I'm saying that's the last time I played. I didn't say
Oh,
anything
he
about
said
it being
rec-
recent.
He said recently, and I was like, "What?"
No, not recent.
nah, motherfucker. That was the
That's
last time you
long.
played. That's always 10 years ago.
Right,
We're
bro.
due. We're all over it, dude. Let's get a game going.
I would love to. I on it, like talking about like part of growing up, like that. If we could get like a bunch of our friends to get together for like a giant kickball game or like a wiffle ball
Like a
game or something like
triathlon
that,
thing.
Try
that
it.
would be so.
Not a
okay.
triathlon, but
I don't
like,
think we'd all make it for a
like-
triathlon,
no,
but I
stop.
meant like a fun game of kickball or wiffle ball for the
that's
day.
what I mean. You get wiffle ball, kickball, we throw something else in there, and we fucking call it a hoopty hoop or some shit. I don't know, we make something up. So like I guess growing up for me was being raised between maybe like 7 or 8 when you could really comprehend shit and start doing on your own and being an independent child. From maybe like 7 or 8 up until I would say probably 2021. Yeah, we'll call it 25 just for shits and gigs for today.
Shits
but-
and gigs.
That like, what is that, 20 years, give or take, 18 years of learning and developing. You become who you are today. And if you're not careful, you could either go very good route or very bad route. I've known people that I grew up with in like elementary school or like intermediate school who are in jail. And I'm like, what the fuck
Intermediate
did you
school.
do? How you could be in jail? And like people
What do you mean intermediate school?
like middle school, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
from
Gotcha,
public
gotcha.
Yeah. You didn't have that out there in Vegas?
I didn't know. I've never heard it called intermediate.
Intermediate school, middle school, same shit. Yeah, and it's crazy because even now, like at our age, I'm like, yo, this motherfucker is still in jail, or this motherfucker just went to jail. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Learn from your mistakes. But I don't know, man. I think like, did you guys have like a solid group or a crew when you were growing up of like your friends?
Oh, I had such a big crew.
How many people?
Oh, honestly, like a 12 easy, straight. Like
Really?
solid, yeah, in Jersey, man. I had a nice crew of friends.
You guys would hang out all the time?
Literally all the time. In
Same
the hallways
people.
in school, we were all cut together. After school, we were all, you know what I mean? And kids were all about their cars then, so they do their little car meets. We were always all with each other.
That's pretty dope.
Always.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it was cool, man. I got lucky in Jersey after a few years of like settling and becoming a Jersey kid and not the kid from New York as so much anymore. But yeah, I had a solid group of friends, man. We chilled all the time. Did a lot of
That's what's
shit.
up.
Fishing, basketball games. We all played baseball and sports. You know what I mean? It's
How
just-
old were you? How old are you?
Ooh, so like we were talking about like our favorite years. Mine would probably be from like 15 to 20.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like
It
what is
started out. Frank said, "What are your best 2 years?" Joe threw in 3 before, and then I was like, "Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess maybe this is." And now he jumps up like, "Well, it's the best 10 years of my life."
Well, from my junior year of high school all the way till when I got back from Florida when I did my internship with Disney.
What year was that?
Those
09?
were like when things started to, you know what I mean? I was traveling, I was doing shit on my own. I had a lot of friends. We were all doing stuff. I was at that age. I was going out. Then I
Yeah.
did the internship in Florida. Like that was one of the best experiences of my life. You know what I mean?
Hell
It was
yeah.
just, I was like 18, 19, 20 going into all that, just getting out of high school, doing a year of college, whatever. So I don't know. I liked all that. That was like my
So your high
favorite.
school years were probably the best, you would say. That your
Nah,
crew.
I wouldn't say my whole high school years are my best.
Okay, but the age range and your friends
Yes.
around that time.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes, we did. I had a lot of fun, man. We did a lot of cool stuff.
Okay. What about you, Frank?
I didn't
Did you
really
have,
have
like, a
one
solid
specific.
crew?
No, like not really. So, because I mean, I lived in Staten Island until I was 8, and then I moved out to Vegas, and then I went to middle school in one area, and then like where I would have went to high school, we moved, so I went to a different district for high school. So I didn't really
Damn.
talk to a lot of the same people, and I went there for my freshman year, but then we moved again. And my mom had passed away. So then I went to a different high school for my sophomore and part of my junior year. And then I dropped out like after part of my junior year and I went to work. And then like I moved back from Vegas back to Staten Island and then like kind of like started my own thing from there. So I never really, I mean, I had good friends. I kind of always said, so like I had a lot of people, especially after my mom passed, that like I've just met in my life that I always had like strong spiritual connection with. Met
Right.
someone, felt like a closeness, vibed over something, like whether it was another loss of someone else that they had that we vibed over, or like something tough or whatever it was. But like I've definitely had my share of very close friendships to where like I've met a lot of very great people over my life, but I didn't always just have that one solid group of friends until I came to Carrabba's.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Back up a second. You don't have your GED?
Yeah, I do.
When did you
I
get it?
dropped
When you were living in Long Island?
Yeah, I dropped out my
Okay,
junior
that's what I
year,
remembered.
and then after I met Karen, I got my GED when I was like 22. I want to say 24 maybe.
Okay. So you didn't really have like a solid crew, I guess, growing up in high school, right?
No, I mean in high school, like from my freshman year, like there was definitely friends that I had that like stuck with me, like my boy Max and like certain people like that. Like I don't really talk to them anymore now,
Right.
but for a while, like yeah, they were very close with me and like I had best friends and stuff, but like we didn't go to the same school anymore, so we didn't talk to each other like all the time as much as like we would have if I did go to the same school still. And I
Right.
did end up getting like other friends and stuff too, and just whatever how it was.
So would you say that your high school years were your best years or favorite years, or would you go younger?
No, after high school.
After.
After I dropped out of high school. That's why I said 18 to 20. Like for me, if I had to put in a longer like thing, like 16 to 21, if you had to give me a 5-year gap, like
16 to 21?
yeah, like that
That's
was
pretty solid. I would rock that.
yeah.
Gap got bigger by 1 year.
It did. I feel like, I don't know, because when you growing up for me is like the development of being a teenager. So when I think of growing up, I think of like probably like I said before, like 7 to 15 or 7 to 16, where you're hitting puberty, like right there at that point, because I had to go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Well, see, I was gonna say like I guess it just depends on your life because everybody has like different like so for me,
Everybody grows up
like,
differently, right?
I was grown up, even though like my mom was around and stuff still, like I had a single mother, my dad wasn't around. I was cooking and stuff, dinner and stuff when I came home from school at like 12 years old. This, that. My mom had 2 heart transplants. She had cardiomyopathy since I was 2 years old. So like she was always on medication. Like I knew how to give her medication. I knew how to like, make dinner. Like my sister always helped out and did stuff too. Like, so even like when I dropped out of high school, I did it to go to work because I was working full time now and I had to pay rent and like things like that. But like, even before my mom passed, like responsibilities was always something she just instilled in us because she was always sick. So she knew she wasn't going to be around. So like from when I was 10 years old to like 15 years old. Yeah. When I was 2 years old, she had cardiomyopathy. She got a heart transplant. They knew it wasn't going to last forever. The first heart lasted 11 years before she had to get another transplant.
Wow.
And then after the second like heart that she had, or after like the second transplant that she had, it was only like maybe like 5 or 6 years. And then they were like, it's not, actually might even been a couple of years less than that, maybe like 3 or 4 years. And then they were like, it's not going to last again. And she didn't want to get a third transplant. So that's why like everything happened. But through all that stuff, her being sick and like us growing up, like I was 8, 10 years old. I was getting her medicine. I was making breakfast for myself before school. Like I was doing dishes. I was mowing the lawn. I was having responsibilities because at some point she wasn't going to be there and whatever. And it was fine because when she, not saying it was fine, but like when she passed away, it was like I never skipped a beat. I just said, you know what? I'm gonna drop out of high school. I'm gonna get emancipated. I'm gonna go work and blah, blah, blah. And I started paying rent and I started having a job, whatever. And then when I could, I went back and got the GED. But so for me, growing up was different. Growing up was a mindset. Automatically, it was just how you had to be because I knew I was gonna have to do that at some point. I was
totally opposite than you. I fucking didn't worry about nothing till like my late 20s. It was horrible.
That's a blessing though, like I hope my kids can have that, dude. Like every parent wants that for their kids because you get to enjoy life that way.
Let me tell you though, if and when I have my child, like you just said, that's what every parent wants. I want that too, but I think I would hold back 100% from being over the top.
Yeah, I hear you.
What do you mean by being over the top?
It's just,
I get what he means though, because like
I would never spoil or give my kids freedom or spoil them, is what I'm saying, the way I was given freedom and being spoiled.
Well, see, I guess it's easier for him to say that too because he had that. Like, see, so me, I always said like I would never spoil my kids either because I don't want them to be spoiled. But my kids are so spoiled that sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but my kids are so spoiled now that like there's certain times like someone will come in my house with like a bag and they're like, oh, is that for me? Like, no, not everything's for you. Like Christmas, you need to relax. Yes. Like, yeah, exactly. Like
they don't even say hello to me. They're like, oh, my present. I'm like,
they saw the presents in his hand and they just were like, oh, you got presents for us? They didn't even wait.
Which is cute. They are.
Don't get me wrong, and I get it. They're 2 and 4, so don't get me wrong, I get it.
There's a way of instilling it. Yes.
Yeah, and like so, but it's a hard balance. It is. It's hard because it's not just you. There's grandparents, there's uncles that fucking give them everything that every time they're with them. There's, like, dude, we went to go hand out flyers one day. I was like, yo, let's go hand out some flyers for the podcast. Come with me. Like, he's like, all right. So he hops in my car. We go to like 20 different places, like whatever. Motherfucker comes out of one of the places with 2 lion toys. I was like, oh, I got these for the kids.
It was a tiger and a lion. It was just
like,
toys.
Why? I don't know. I just saw them. I thought they wanted them. Like,
it is.
There's no need for things like that. But that's what I'm talking about. So it's not even just you. It's everyone. But the point of it is exactly like having those constant conversations with them and telling them and instilling that with them about knowing the value and appreciation.
Right.
Things like that.
But again, like it's not even more so of like what you need to do that. It's just making sure that they're ready to make the right choices, because my parents spoiling me and taking me everywhere and giving me everything, and like I didn't have to worry about nothing. To this day, I still don't have to really worry about shit, which is cool. But like, it's not like they did anything wrong. It's just I took it the wrong way, and my path that I chose, it was just easier for me to go the wrong way. You know what I mean?
But saying that right there, saying what you just said right there,
that's growth.
Well, I was just saying it's so big because there's people like look at like Step Brothers.
I had to go through to get to the point where I can say that.
But that's good,
never
Joe,
wish on any
that is something. There's
children.
People that have gone through certain things, obviously not the same thing, but certain things that are similar that it broke them. or there's certain people that went through the same thing and didn't realize or didn't make the correction or
It
didn't
break
grow.
that chain.
Or look at, like, again, like I said, stepbrothers. There's people that are like that in real life. So the fact that you could say that you could realize that, you could appreciate that now is amazing, dude. That's good. That's
thank you. I appreciate it. But that's where I'm proving my point on like my parents, the parenting's always still there. Like it just took me longer to like grow up and realize like,
do you feel like you were nurtured too much? You were overly,
absolutely. And that's not a bad thing, because I still could have been a fucking doctor or a Nobel Prize fucking, you know what I mean? I could have did a lot better things, but like you
had a lot more opportunity that you could have used better, you mean?
Right. You know what I mean? I just did it. Trust me. I could have been somewhere completely far
different in your life.
You know what I mean? If I had just taken my freedom and my all that shit that I got.
No, I hear you. But like, to where it didn't take you so long to realize that you were taking it for granted, you mean?
Right. And my parents told me, like, always make the right choice and don't be stupid and think before you act. But like,
who listens to parents anyway?
No, honestly, I say that shit to my kids all the time.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
I'm not even joking. I say think before you act to Mia all the time, and I have flashbacks of my parents saying it to me.
It's crazy.
It's so fucking trippy.
Yo, I remember like when I was a little kid, I'd be getting yelled at by my dad for something, and I'd be like, when I grow up, I'm never gonna talk to my kids like that. And like, I don't have kids, so I can't talk to them that way. But like now that I'm older, I'm seeing where he's coming from. And I was like, oh, wow, well, maybe I would say that to my kid if they were in that situation.
It's so funny. I don't have a child, but I have a dog. Like my first dog. And I swear to you, hearing stories from like you, Frank, and other people that I know have kids, and just stories of like when I was a child and things my parents used to do to me, I do it to my dog. And it's like, I would never yell at my kids for that, but my dog does something stupid. I'm like, man, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I get like, what he's saying, because before I had kids, like I get the whole of like that feeling type of thing. But every time now that someone says like something like that, and I'm not saying because that you're saying this right now, because
it makes me realize like, wow, that's why my parents did it, because like it gets you, like you just comes out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I get what you're saying like that, but when someone always references like dog to kids, I always think of the Tom Segura clip when he's like, the difference between a pet and children is that dog could bite my children and I would drown that dog through yelps and this and that. But if my kids hurt that dog, they're okay. Like they're okay. And it's just funny, but I do get the reference, because I do. Yes, absolutely. I felt that way with my dog the same way.
I don't know. Maybe I'm a little different of a pet parent. Like I literally treat my dog. I don't know if it's because I want a child so bad, but like I talk to it like it's a human child.
No, I do.
You know what I mean? Like I take it everywhere with me. And granted, she's small and like good, like and well behaved, where I can do that. So she's like in Home Depot, in the supermarket. Like I don't even go. This is like, oh, you can't bring her in the fucking shop, right? I'm like, let them tell me I can't. Otherwise, she's gonna be in the aisle picking out the carrots that I want to eat later. You know what I mean? She's gonna help me.
That's funny.
So do you think that of course the answer is yes, but like your responsibilities as a child growing up until let's say 21 or 25, did you guys have chores or anything like that?
Fuck yeah.
I mean, Frank, I know obviously you just explained that you were cooking and shit, but like Joe, did you have chores?
Yeah, I had to take out the garbage, I had to clean off the table, I had to have my room cleaned every Thursday. You know what I mean? It was like,
did you get allowance for it?
Yeah, I did get allowance. I had to mow the fucking lawn once a week, and I got paid $25 to do that.
$25?
That was a fucking ripoff. I was cheaped. Okay,
what cheaped?
Yo, I was getting $20 a week.
Yo, me and my neighbor literally said to ourselves, we're like, we're stupid. People are paying. This is Jersey. People were paying for their lawns. To cut a lawn took a lot of work in Jersey, and people were very specific about it. Yeah. And like we made like flyers, did a lawn mowing service, and we had like 6-7 houses on the block.
What?
And we were charging $75-$100 a house and making $40-$50 each. So yeah, $25 to cut my damn lawn that I had in Jersey. I was being cheaped.
Oh, I got you. All right.
Well, see, I was thinking
It
like
was a
on the
big
younger
motherfucking lawn,
side,
Danny. This
like because
wasn't
that
no
sounds like
fucking
more
little
like
2 foot
teenage.
by 6 foot
Yeah.
patch of grass.
Well, that sounds more like teenage like chores. Like I was thinking like how he was saying like more like the 8 to 12-ish like range of like chores and stuff like
No.
that. But
Clean up my room was the most of it, maybe.
really?
Yeah, I tell you, I
Damn.
was spoiled.
Dude.
I didn't have responsibilities. Up
I
until
never
started
got
acting like an
allowance.
asshole.
I never got allowance. Like once I turned 15, I got like my worker's permit and I was like a dishwasher where my mom was a server. And that was when I started making money. But like I never got allowance. But when I came home from school, I always emptied the dishwasher. I always made my own snack, did my homework, and then helped my sister start dinner. Or if one of us didn't do dinner, the other one had to do the dishes in the dishwasher. And then next day you came home from school, same thing. Who's getting the dishwasher? Who's whatever. Like we just that
Vice
was just our
versa.
always daily routine. Yeah. But so I'm sorry, wait, I don't mean to cut you off, dude, but this is what I was gonna say on what Joe said before. But see, the reason I say like I'd appreciate it and like and it's good that you realize after and this and that, like I would want exactly what you had for my kids. And I say exactly what you had. I mean everything in the easy sense in the beginning to them realizing it after and being told the right thing and me parenting them right. Because me growing up, like without ever having like my parents set me up financially to help me out with a bank account or a savings account or something to go into college or buy my own car or whatever it was, this, that, blah, blah. And then my mom passed away and I was already like working to pay rent, like in debt. I never had like team guy trips or like any of those like, you know, vacation stuff like this. I never really did go out and stuff like that. Like I really was always working because I didn't have enough money to go out. So I'd smoke with my friends at my house or like whatever it was and do the house party thing. But like I didn't get to experience as much as most of my friends did, like and things like that. So and I was always angry because of things like that during those years, and I didn't grow up to appreciate it until later. Whereas same thing, like if you're growing up to appreciate it now and you do realize and you did take it the right way, you still have that opportunity there because like you said, they're still there to help you, they're still whatever. So I'd rather them have the opportunity, have all those extra good memories of things that they could have, and then still end up being able to do the right thing than have to go through the struggle of harder stuff. And not to say that like you or me or anyone would like make them
I
struggle,
get what you're saying.
but like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck it, enjoy it, because
Fuck
you
it.
shouldn't have to struggle before you're fucking 12 years old. You shouldn't have to worry about that stuff. You should exactly how you grow up is how a kid should be,
grow
because
up.
all of these struggles and things that we have in life, they're all self-man inflicted things that we made up. All these systems and all this stuff, like
Yup.
all our stresses are things that we made. So yeah, as a kid, you should not have to be thinking about those things too early. And so I envy you. I think that's fucking awesome. Like no joke. I don't think that that's bad or you should look down on that in any way. Like that's fucking awesome. That is the dream. Like your parents had a successful dream to me. Like that's the American dream. Fuck being rich or fuck being famous or whatever. If you know that like your kids had a great childhood, a happy childhood, and you were successful enough to not have to worry about, the major things, that's a fucking win.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
Hell yeah, man.
I agree with you on that.
Mhm.
What I was gonna say before actually was really just based on, I guess you had mentioned that you said you got your job and your working papers early and you just started kind of getting into it early, right? Joe, what was your first job?
My first job that like I ever did and got a paid like money for cash was, okay, let's see if you guys remember this place. On Mill Road, there used to be Sports Fest.
Yup.
Remember Sports Fest, right?
The big white bubble or whatever.
Yes.
It was a
No,
huge
that
bubble.
was Fun Bubble. But
Oh,
yes,
okay.
the big white bubble, because it was also a big bubble. There used to be wrestling matches there. And I got a job emptying garbages.
Okay.
That was like my first
That was your
job.
first real job?
But like I also can't really say that because like I worked with my dad a lot. Like I also had the pleasure of doing shit like that. Like I was very lucky to, he ran a lot of big jobs. He was working with a big company. So like I always worked with him and got paid. But like my first job on my own, like in high school, freshman year, was McDonald's.
You worked at McDonald's? Oh yeah. That was your first job.
That was
shit.
like my first real job.
What was your worst job?
Oh man, my worst job. Honestly, okay, I worked on Wall Street for a little bit.
I remember
Really?
this.
I didn't know that.
I did.
That's dope.
I got my Series 7 and all that bullshit. And not that it was my worst, but like it turned out I was not that I wasn't good at it. I just didn't like it. I wasn't about it. And I was in a bad time in my life. But like even that being said, like I just didn't like the vibe of like maybe it was the office I was in. It was just like a huge scam to me. I was just scamming people all day. I didn't really, it was just like
You didn't feel morally good about it.
I guess, and it was just a
Yeah.
lot of hours. I was making no money and like I was promised all this big fucking the world. They promise you the world, you know what I mean? You're gonna rule the world on Wall Street, which some people do. I got a friend now who's on Wall Street and he's very successful, very young, and it worked out for him. And I always get envious of that because it was like, wow, I could have been fucking riding real high right now if I would have just stuck it through. But I just didn't. It was one of those jobs like I literally just didn't want fucking anything to do with it no more. It was horrible. I didn't like it. The hours were long, traveling, just the fucking rules in my office. It was a nightmare, man.
It was a shit show.
Yeah.
So that was
Wasn't
also
about it.
my
Cool experience though, but for me,
I was just gonna ask you next, Danny.
that
What
was like
your
my
first
least
job and worst
pleasurable
job?
job.
So my first job was working right up the block at a pizzeria. It was called Bridges Pizzeria.
Okay.
I worked there. I was 16. It was my first job off the books. I would walk there every day. Took me like 10 minutes to get there. Not even that, 5 minutes. Right on on Armstrong and Amboy, where the Bagels R Us is.
Yeah.
Right over there.
Sure.
There's a pizzeria there. Still is now, but a different one.
Yeah.
I was like 16 and I was like ambitious to learn. I was like so naive because I was like, yeah, I'll be the phone guy. I'll do the delivery guy. I mean, I'll do the fucking waiter thing. I'll do whatever it is.
Mhm.
They taught me how to make pizza. They taught me how to make calzones and chicken parm. Bro, they were fucking selling drugs out of the motherfucking store. And they closed down one day and they just shut the shit down. I showed up for work and the gates were down. I was like, what the fuck? Go back the next day. I'm calling, nothing. One day I was like, all right, what am I going to do? I guess they're just closed for the rest of the week. One of the delivery guys was in the thing or whatever by the store. And I was like, yo, what happened? And they're like, oh, they got shut down. Cops raided the place. There was drugs and blah, blah, blah. They were selling drugs out of the basement. I was like, holy shit. It was crazy. Dude.
So that was your first and worst job.
That was my first job. I've actually had a worse experience than that. Similar to what Joe is saying, though. I was doing cold calls. I was doing loans on based on commission. And I worked for like 2 or 3 months at one point at this place, calling people, doing like Wolf of Wall Street shit, if you will. And I hated it because I was not someone to be like, yo, you need this money from me. I was like, yeah, you don't want it, no doubt. Click next, who wants it? But I hated it because you would work on commission.
I don't know.
So
why.
I wouldn't get paid.
I feel like I would have been really good at it. I'm very good with people. I could talk to people. I'm very good with customer service type shit. And it kind of falls along the lines of it. But I don't know, man. Something rubbed me wrong about that.
It wasn't about it. I just felt like it was too much negativity. And I kept coming home. I kept saying, fuck you. And I was like, yo, honestly, I don't know this person, but they're not agreeing to what I'm trying to sell them. So I hang up on him. I'm like, fuck this guy. And then
another worst job, Danny, which me and you did together, which I wouldn't call
Grand Plaza.
Grand Plaza. The fact that you called it was beautiful just now.
Oh,
that place sucked. That job sucked.
Horrible. It was like catering, but like legit catering, and it wasn't even like a good catering.
That was like the worst. I don't know. That was like a whatever job that I don't even know why we were doing that.
I think I don't know. But all right, so I got a couple questions here I want to ask you guys real quick. We'll just rapid fire this shit. What was your first car?
You want me to go first?
Sure.
I had a
was this
2015 Cadillac 16 CTS.
That was your first car?
6 liter.
I remember that.
Oof.
Kid drives like a maniac. That's why he doesn't have a license.
I crashed it the first week, demolished it.
Oh, actually, I think you remember
I think
telling
I
us the
told
story.
this
That's
story.
right. Yes.
That's the type of kid I was. I didn't give a fuck. Bro. I got a brand new off the lot Cadillac. Who had that at 17? I did. Racing it down my block, and I smashed the whole thing.
That's funny.
I had no shits given for anything.
My first car was a Volvo. It was
I
a
remember that
hand-me-down from my mom's friend's mom.
Bro,
She
that
kept it in-
Volvo was dope though. You had that
Dude,
for a long time too.
I did. She
remember
kept
it.
it in like great condition for like 20 years, and I got it. Yeah, what's that?
You had the windshield wipers and the headlights I
On the
remember
headlights.
that.
Shit was fire. It looked like a Benz from like a distance, but it wasn't.
That's
What was your first car, Frank?
So I actually got my first car when I was 22, and Karen got it for me for $900. It was a 1990, and this was in 2007. It was a 1990, or no, it was in 2009. I'm sorry. It was a 1990 Honda Civic manual stick shift, and the driver's side door did not open. It was broken.
Wow. You had to get out on the side?
I either had to climb over the other side when it was raining, or I would just leave the window open all the time and just like Dukes of Hazzard it and
Hop
climb
in
through
and
the
out.
driver window. Yeah, all the time.
Dukes and Hazzard.
And it was stick shift too, and it was I loved that car too. It was one of my favorite cars. But real quick to back up, because I know I said that I did the dishwasher thing for my first, but I just wanted to say this because I know you guys are gonna laugh at me, even though it's making fun of myself. My worst job was actually I worked at Chuck E. Cheese when I was a teenager.
That
Oh,
doesn't
what?
sound bad at all.
I thought you were gonna say dolphin trainer.
No,
I'm
It
just
was-
fucking with you.
it was bad because we used to all have to take turns like putting on the costume, and it sucked. It was terrible. I hated that job.
Damn. All right. So here's something. I'm gonna rattle these off quick. I want you to know if you've played them as a child or not. Because when you guys were talking about your groups, I had a solid group of friends. There was like 8 of us. We all lived on the same block, Escanaba, and we called ourselves E Block. So we were a crew, and we would go to different towns, hanging out with other friends. And people, it would sound so crazy. But people would be like, "Oh, yo, E Block is here. What up?" We had a
I'm
secret
just laughing
handshake.
because like I
Bro.
could see him and his friends, and like 90s to early 2000s was where like a lot of people went through that like wigger phase, and
Bro,
like
hell
he's like,
yeah.
"Yo, we would E Block, son."
So it was me, my friend Mike, Liz, Charlie, Joe, Steve, my other friend Mike, and his brother Tom. And we would go everywhere together. And we'd meet with like either Charlie's girlfriends or like fucking Mike's girlfriends or, you know, whatever. And we'd all just go everywhere together. We did everything. Bro, all right, I'll just name them off. You tell me if you play them or not. Manhunt.
Yes.
Yes, I played Manhunt.
Okay, there we go. I was just like, I know I got you. I read it. I was reading that too, no doubt. Yeah, we could do that. Red Rover. You guys ever played Red Rover?
Never
I
heard.
mean, played it, but not regularly.
Okay. Kickball, obviously.
Yes.
Dodgeball.
Yes. You
Kick
skipped
the
stoop
can.
ball because I see your list.
I was getting to
Kick
take
the
these.
can. I kicked anything that was in front of me. It could have been a rock.
You guys play stickball?
Yes.
Yes.
Stickball was a lot harder than wiffle ball for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe
'Cause
because
the
the
stick
fucking
was thinner.
handball, the stick was a little thinner, but the ball itself would just go distances. It's like you're
Yeah.
out of here. We would do scavenger hunts. You guys do scavenger hunts?
Hell yeah.
Sometimes.
Okay, there's something called quarter ball. I don't think you ever was it no box ball. I'm sorry, box ball.
Box ball, yeah.
It's like you're in 2 bricks of the cement and you put a quarter in the middle and you got a handball. You got to try to hit it and you got to hit the quarter.
Oh yes. Okay, I've heard of that.
All right, so those were probably like
I guess it was like a
daily-
West Coast thing,
daily
but
games.
when you said box ball, I was thinking of like Foursquare.
Where's Foursquare?
It's like where you have like a kickball, and then like it's 4 squares that are painted on the ground, and it's like you have to try and like bounce it in someone else's square without them catch because
Okay,
catch
yeah,
it
I
to
know
throw
what
it
you're
in someone
talking
else's, and you have to try and make them miss it. I used to play
I
that.
played
in,
that
like,
too.
school.
I don't know what it was called though.
Yeah. So, but when you said box ball, that's why I was like, oh, is this another name for this now? But never mind.
We would be out all fucking night, bro. I wouldn't go home until the fucking streetlights came on. That's when I knew I had to start getting my ass home because I get a beating if I was late, but I usually just deal with it. Do you remember your first kiss?
I actually don't remember my first like real kiss.
No. I was in 4th grade. This girl, Alyssa, we were in auditorium for a fucking whatever. What did they used to call them? Like a fuck. They'd call every class to the auditorium for what? For a
Assembly.
Assembly. There we go. Fucking assembly. We were holding hands the whole time, and I thought I was like a big shot because I'm holding hands with a girl in 4th grade. She, out of nowhere, I don't know. We were like walking to the chairs, and she just stops and turns around and kisses me. Like just our lips touched, but for like 5 seconds. And then we kept going. We sat down next to each other. And my friend next to me, I think it was James at the time, he's like nudging me. He's like, "How did it feel? What was it like?" Because he saw us. And I was like, dude, I don't even know. At the time, I couldn't even comprehend what the hell just happened.
That's
But
funny.
that was like my first kiss ever. So that's what I remember. And the first time like I made out or hooked up with somebody was my friend Matt's cousin, Melissa. I was in 6th grade. I was a late bloomer. I was a prude. And we were at Sports Fest Dance, which Joe is very familiar with, I'm
That
sure of
changed
it.
real quick, by the way.
And we were at Sports Fest Dance Club, or Dance Club, whatever you want to call it, whatever. And I knew that like I liked her because she had come in before. She lived in Pennsylvania and she came in, whatever. Long story short, I was by the fucking driving game, race car game, and she was next to me and she just like straddled me, and then we started hooking up. And I was like, I don't know if I'm doing this right because it's the first time I've ever done this. But look at my, it was just weird to have like someone else's tongue in your mouth for the first time. But
That's funny.
that doesn't stop me now. So
That's
Oh
funny.
god, great.
No, I don't remember the first time I like made out with someone, but the first time I ever like kissed a girl was when I was in 2nd grade when we moved from Staten Island to Vegas. And one of my best friends that like we always hung out every day was a girl. She lived 2 houses down from me, and it was Amanda. And when I moved away to Vegas, she
Man,
kissed me.
please.
Well, like we didn't kiss her tongue or anything. Like she just like kissed me.
I don't
Right.
remember like my first. I kissed so
When was
many.
that?
I can't remember.
That's funny.
You can't remember your first kiss, where you were or who you were. Well, I guess no. I guess that's kind of the whole point of you saying you don't remember.
Really don't. Like I'm really trying to think. I was kind of making me upset. I just don't fucking remember.
Okay.
Hey,
You want to think about it for a second, or you were just?
I've been thinking about it, Danny. I don't remember.
He's like, I don't remember. All right, so I'm gonna let's wrap it with this then. What advice would you give to your younger self if you
Just
could go
don't-
back in time?
Don't be a fucking asshole. It's very simple. I was an asshole. For me, don't be a
You
dick.
that was real. I didn't even finish the sentence, and you were like, "Yeah, don't be a dick."
I wish I could go back to my 16-year-old self, like right after my mom passed.
Get a job. Go to school.
I wish I
Same
would have
shit
just
I was
told
being
myself.
told my whole life that I was like, okay, shut up.
I wish I would have told myself, you're never gonna be able to save. Just do it. Like it always seems like you're not gonna be able to save something unless you make a fund to save something. Like I wish I would have told myself at 16, like start putting away $50 a week or something.
Oh, like money and
So
stuff.
15 years later, like I wish I would have started investing back then. I wish I would have started like whatever. Once I turned 18, because Robinhood wasn't back then or whatever.
Right.
Like once I turned 18 or 21 and I could do things, like I wish at 16 I would have known to start saving stuff to been able to do things when I was 18, 21 and had the options to do things. That's the biggest thing. I wish I would have been more financially
Stable.
not stable, responsible.
Oh, interesting terms. I would agree. I would like to go back and tell myself that.
Because not everybody can be financially stable, like right, like it's
No.
your parents. It's not their fault if they can't give you something, whatever that they don't have. You know what I mean? So not everybody is always financially stable. But I wish that I was taught financial responsibility when I was young.
True. I would probably go back and tell myself, don't go around breaking young girls' hearts. Yeah. You think your younger self would be proud of who you are today?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard for me to answer.
No pre-kids, yes post-kids.
Yes, recently because my responsibility stage popped in real heavy and like my mature stage really is like full bloom. But like otherwise, no, my younger self wouldn't be happy.
No. I feel like my younger self would be
Again,
proud
I
of
had a lot of potential, man, and I just went.
You
other
still got this
ways.
potential. It doesn't go anywhere.
But
Potential
yeah,
energy
I'm saying
keeps going,
from,
man.
Right from here on, I'm still going, but from this point up until recently, like 3 years, the answer would be no.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. And I hope that moving forward, you can be
It's not a bad thing.
proud. No, it's
My
not,
younger
but
self would just be like, Joe, what the fuck? You could have been there. You went here.
I just feel that from where you
Like,
are now,
At the
don't
end
let
of
it
the
be.
day, no. At the end of the day, my younger self would be extremely proud of me. Like the things I do, how I act, how I portray myself, but like, I don't know, I'm contradicting myself.
contradict
I was just gonna say, King.
It's just what I do, man.
I was waiting for Danny to say that.
I was
I have to contradict myself.
I wasn't
That's
going
why I
to,
said
but it
I-
just sounded like it. I was like, all
No.
right, it's not me. Someone's gonna say something.
No, yeah.
Well,
I
all
think
right.
you have
Well,
to be. I think you have to feel like that your younger self would be proud of you because
Look at all you've
otherwise that
come
just means
through.
you don't learn. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
It
all
doesn't
you've been
even
through
mean you're not
your life.
necessarily where you wanted to be at this age. Like I get what
It's
he's saying.
a
Like okay, I
complicated
could have.
situation.
Yeah,
guys.
like I get what he's saying. Like okay, I like because same. My younger self would probably say to myself, "I wish you were a little further than where you are." But I would
Right.
definitely be proud of myself because of all the mistakes that I have made. I have learned and grown from them.
I can
So, yes,
picture
proud of
Frank
myself,
talking to his
yes,
younger
but I-
self, like, you don't know what I've been through, man.
You don't know my life.
Actually, yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you. I think similar. Yeah, my younger self would probably be proud of the person who I am, but would definitely wanted me to be somewhere else in life. I should have went to medical school fucking 10 years ago, but I didn't.
put
So
it this way.
I'm learning from it now.
Like Joe said in one of the past episodes, he said like, "What do you mean?" Oh, I think it was the multiverse episode. He's like, "What do you mean?" Because then, like, yeah, of course, if I could do anything differently, yeah, I would do it. Like, no matter what, like in life, you're always gonna want to feel like you should have done better. If you
More,
don't,
right.
something is wrong with you. You know what I mean? Like you should
Yeah.
always feel like, yeah, I wish I would have known this sooner, or I wish I would have after you figured something out. Fuck, how did it take me so long to figure that out? How did it take us
course.
all fucking so long to figure out the can openers go on the side and not the top? Like, come on. You know what I mean?
What?
But it was the
What do you
thing.
mean?
I've always known that. You just
Really?
ruined it.
I
What do you-
never knew
now,
that.
now I'm gonna question. What do you mean, Frank? You didn't know that?
Really?
So
Wait,
like a
yeah,
can
what do you mean?
opener
opener,
works.
like most people put it like on the top, so it would like dig into the can, like when you're opening it. If you
Okay.
put it actually sideways on the can, it opens it with like no fucking razor edges. I just learned that recently in the last couple years. Never
You're gonna have to
fucking knew
show
that.
me what you're talking about, because as of now,
So wait.
I'm thinking
This
how
is
the
my can. If I put my can over, usually you connect it on the side like this.
Okay.
Like people put it like this, and
But
clamp
you're
it down,
telling me that people clamp it on the top like that.
and
and
where it's
cut it
like
around.
you squeeze it to the side, exactly. So like most
Nah,
people go
man.
like this, and you clamp it on the top, and it'll dig into the can and make
I'm
holes
about
like
to
that.
go fucking.
Yes,
Yo,
yes.
I
a
swear to
can
God,
of
same
Tuna
thing right
Russo.
Hang on,
sauce.
ready?
Okay,
I'm not even gonna cut
go.
the episode for this. I'm gonna open a can just to fucking show you guys. Hold
I'm
on.
gonna open a can of whoop ass on you, motherfucker. I don't need no can opener. You believe this kid, bro? What is he doing a demonstration for us
Is
now?
he talking
What the
about?
fuck is this?
Is he really going to get a can?
He's going to get a can. We're just gonna sit here and wait.
Okay.
Oh, he's back. All right.
Most people would go like this, right?
Okay, putting
Squeeze it.
the scissor part to the top.
Exactly. For people that
Okay.
are not watching.
So
on
what are
YouTube.
you saying?
I'm saying what you do is you go like this, and you put the gear on just the inside of the lip to where the blade is this, and you squeeze it on the side.
So, all right, the thing you're
That
turning
is
is
true.
not on
you
the
need
side
to
of the
make a
can.
TikTok.
It's on
It's
me.
already a
on the
thing.
can.
It's what I'm
Okay.
saying. It's a thing on TikTok that like people, they all like. It's been a challenge. That's what I'm saying. So like it's like
Are you wasting that? First of all, I can't even see it.
I don't
because
care.
of
It's a
the
can of
green
chicken.
screen thing.
I'm just
Bring it
hold on.
closer to you.
I know
It's
we
a
can't
can of
see
chicken
it.
broth, so I'm just
You
opening
can't
it.
see.
Right,
You
I was
just
just
the whole
twisting it around.
demonstration. I know, but
Ready?
that's you got to demonstrate it.
Yeah, but now how do you
I
get
just-
the top off? I didn't see.
And
the
it's
part where-
no razor cut. It's fucking flat.
I don't know. This
So
is
that's what
weird.
I'm saying. It was on TikTok like a year ago, and it was like, "How old were you when you learned this?" And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I never knew that."
Today.
That's the
years
type
old.
of shit I'm talking about. Yeah, I was today years old when I learned that.
Wow.
Damn.
Mhm.
That's
You
pretty
guys were
crazy.
10 years old when you learned.
Oh snap! Oh
But yeah,
snap!
isn't that nuts? So like, yeah, if anybody's using it like this, don't you use it like this, and you won't cut
Don't.
yourself.
So you're saying instead of twisting the knob on the side of the can and the can
It should
spinning,
be over the top.
you're gonna put the twisting of the knob facing the top of it.
Yes.
and-
So it
that's
goes like
cool.
this, and then you spin it like this.
All right, well, fucking, you gonna learn today.
You go.
Isn't that fucking amazing though?
That's some shit.
Mhm.
So everybody
Now I
go
gotta
home and try that. Don't try this at home, kids.
Now I gotta go put this chicken broth in a Tupperware.
All right, thank you all very much for the likes, listens, shares, and follows. We appreciate all of your support. Thank you to anybody specific you want to throw out there today.
All our regulars. As
I was
always.
gonna
I
say
mean,
all
I
of
would say
our
we
supporting fans.
Everybody.
That's that. There it is. Thank you.